thank you so much for being with us today. And I would like to tell you guys that our readers love Kota Factory, and I am pretty certain like readers all around, audience everywhere loves Kota Factory. The response we saw to the first season. So Raghav, my first question is to you. I don't come from an engineering background. I've never been to Kota, and I'm sure a lot of the audience has never been there. Yet you make us feel like we are right there in the middle of all of it. How do you strike that balance that nobody is alienated?
Sampada, I haven't either been to Kota to study. I have stayed away from engineering, stayed away from maths all my life. I have thought about this quite a bit, and I am from an arts background, so I have found this sweet balance where I have to show the world in such a way that people who don't know about Kota feel the depth of Kota, understand what the world is like. And there are so many assumptions about this entire place, this entire city. I wanted to break that, but also cement certain ideas that we have forgotten along the way. This city is about determination. It's about being better than who you are and making it and achieving something. So, these are very humanistic things. Our goals might be different, but our journeys pretty much are the same. We have to put in that much effort, and that shows, and that is exactly what I wanted to show in this Netflix series now. So it is my understanding that I have to present it in such a way that stays true to people who have been to Kota, and also not just entertains but also makes you feel the other drives behind being in a city like Kota.
Jeetu Bhaiya is a phenomena. जब से Kota Factory season 1 आया है, what do you think makes Jeetu Bhaiya click so well?
I think काफ़ी हेल्पफुल है ना, मतलब जो भी लोग फंसे हुए हैं कोटा में उनकी हेल्प करते हैं, तो इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि वही मेन रीज़न है क्लिक करने का. और आई थिंक हमको सबको किसी ना किसी तरह का असिस्टेंस या हेल्प चाहिए होता है, और हमें कोई पाथ दिखाने वाला चाहिए होता है. तो आई थिंक वो जीतू भैया का कैरेक्टर है. आई थिंक दैट्स वाई बहुत ज़्यादा लोग कनेक्ट कर रहे हैं उससे बार बार. एंड हाँ, फिलॉसफी भी अच्छी है जीतू भैया के. जो भी डायलॉग्स हैं या जो भी वो बोलते हैं, जो भी कन्वे करते हैं इमोशंस, वो काफ़ी कमाल के लिखे हुए हैं. तो वो एक बहुत बड़ा रीज़न है कि वो इतना ज़्यादा लेवल पे क्लिक किया.
आपके जीतू भैया कौन थे?
बहुत सारे लोग, मतलब थ्रू आउट माई लाइफ कोई ना कोई, मतलब मैं हमेशा से ऐसा रहा हूँ कि मैं कुछ भी काम अकेले कर नहीं पाता हूँ. तो मुझे कोई चाहिए जो पुश करे और मुझे रास्ता दिखाए कि ये कर ले, तो मैं चलने लग जाता हूँ उस रास्ते पे. तो आई थिंक बहुत थ्रू आउट माई जर्नी बहुत सारे लोग मुझे ऐसे मिले हैं जो मेरे जीतू भैया हैं, एंड बहुत सारे नाम हैं.
From mental health to physical health, dealing with loneliness, heartbreaks, teenage years are extremely vulnerable, and we've all been through all of that. So, but what's the fine line that you choose? कि यहाँ तक it's delicate and उसके बाद it gets a little campy, I could say, or a
exploitative.
Exploitative.
As a director, whenever the kind of films that I watch, the films that inspire me, I have a very humanistic approach, and I would like to keep that lens view on all of my work, and that is precisely that filter that I apply on everything that I read, any script that I read. What is the emotional value to this scene, to this episode, to this show, to people? What would it mean? So finding that and not exploiting, as I said. It's very common and very easy to exploit a young adult, teenage 16 to 18 space that we see on the internet or on other channels. It's very easy to go that way because that world is extremely effervescent. You expect teenagers to break bad, but we at TVF try to make shows that remain true to the lives that we have led, or the writers have led, or the creators have lived, breathed. And we want to make stuff, and we want to do stuff that feels like home, that feels like Indian and not American at all, where you can go out for parties. It just does not relate and resonate with an Indian audience, and that's precisely where we come from.
a young woman like Shivangi perceive a world which is so dominated by men, but she's such a strong-headed girl? So how do you make her that way, that she's still her own woman?
I think personally I love Shivangi's character for this very reason, because even in the show, even in second season, she's the one who, you know, guides Vaibhav somewhere, and she helps Meena with what he's also struggling, and then at the same time she's also speaking to Vartika about a certain topic. So like you said, like when you hear the word IIT or you hear the word engineering, you always think about boys, and we always forget that there are girls also preparing for IIT. There are girls who are sitting for that exam. And so this season, I think we've explored that world a little more. We see what girls also go through. We are not talking about feminism, or we're not talking about girl power. It's just a matter of fact. We are representing that those facts that, you know, people forget to talk about. Like even in the trailer, we see Shivangi say that, you know, there are girls who are on their periods when they're sometimes preparing for IIT, and they're also giving the exam at the same time. And there's a lot more. There's a whole another episode where Vartika is going through something. So I think personally I love this season even more because we are able to talk about that in more depth. So yes, I think also Shivangi's character is able to speak up, and which is why I love this character personally. And yeah, I've tried my best to, you know, do justice to all of that.
We all know that how Kota and the coaching industry suffered a lot because of the pandemic, but I believe that you have not included that in the show. Was that a conscious decision, and if so, why?
We had written the show just before the pandemic hit. We were going to go on floor around March, and the whole country went kaput. So we did have intense discussions, should we put this in? But we realized that this is a fictional show, and one thing that we really want to do is stand the test of time. By putting in the pandemic, you close off a certain narrative, and we wanted this to last even 60 years later. When a kid goes to Kota, he or she can always plug into Kota Factory, and we want it to be timeless. So by putting in the pandemic, we thought that it would not resonate very well, and it would not be a natural progression for the characters. And you know, speaking about the pandemic, it's just amazing that our entire production team, Netflix, the actors, everyone was so excited despite a raging pandemic happening outside. When we were sanitizing our vegetables and pizza boxes on arrival, everyone's shooting and hoping that we don't catch COVID. And the best thing is, no one caught COVID on the sets. For 46 days of shoot, nobody, not a single person. So yeah, that was the major reason that we did not want to go ahead and put the pandemic in the show like that.
I know a lot of youngsters who look up to you as Jitu Bhaiya. So what's the one lesson that they should take away from Jitu Bhaiya from Kota Factory?
मतलब मुझे लगता है कोटा फैक्ट्री देख के मैं जो सीखता हूँ वो ये है कि हाँ, हम लोग सब लोग किसी ना किसी प्रॉब्लम्स में फंसते हैं. जब भी हम लोग गोल सेट करते हैं या कुछ अचीव करना चाहते हैं, तो ऑफ कोर्स मतलब बहुत सारी सिचुएशंस आएंगी जहाँ पे हम लोग फंसे होंगे. सो उन सिचुएशंस पे हमें मतलब वो गोल्स नहीं छोड़ने चाहिए. हमें थोड़ा इजी रहते हुए अगर कोई हेल्प अगर हम ढूंढ पाए आसपास, तो वो लेने में हमें बिल्कुल भी एतराज़ नहीं करना चाहिए, और वो लोग ढूंढने चाहिए जो हमें उस रास्ते से या उस सिचुएशन से निकाल सकें. तो कई बार हम झिझकते हैं कि अरे मैं मतलब अब हमारा ईगो बीच में आ जाता है कि मैं उससे हेल्प नहीं लूँगा या मैं ये नहीं करूँगा. तो आई थिंक वो नहीं करना चाहिए, और दोस्त बनाने चाहिए अच्छे जो तुम्हें हेल्प कर सकें और तुम उनकी हेल्प कर सको. सो वो बहुत ज़रूरी है. सो दैट्स माई टेक अवे.